94. Again, 352-629-8794.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
Started in 1975. It's Yendel's Building Materials. Whether you're making repairs, adding a room, or building a house, Yendel's constantly delivers excellent service and top quality materials and many of the tools and hardware you need to get the job done. At Yendel's, they take pride in supplying their customers with new and innovative products. Yendel's experience in truss design, manufacturing, and component materials is second to none. 834 North Magnolia Avenue in Ocala, 732-3000. Stop by to experience the difference.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Thursday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz on a beautiful Thursday morning. I'm coming to you live from the palatial studios of WOCA Radio, just outside the food court entrance to the Paddock Mall in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida. A few gremlins in the control room this morning, but we're working through it. On the radio with us right now on the phone lines, Galen Unall from somewhere in Marion County, probably on his way to Alachua County. Who knows what's Galen? He could be on his way to the casino in Hollywood, folks. We don't know. Galen, good morning.
Hey, what's going on, Tom? I can guarantee you I'm not going to the casino. No.
The one in Hollywood.
That's not how I like to gamble. That's not how I like to gamble. I don't mind placing a bet now and then, but other than that, that's about it.
You're the sports book guy, probably.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than a sports book on NFL Sunday. It's one of the. I've said this. I've told both my boys, once you're old enough, you got to go do it at least once. So it's just that.
Oh, you got to. There's nothing like spending a Sunday or Saturday or Sunday during football season in the sports book. Because when you wake up, if you go to Vegas and you wake up in the sports, you're in the sports book by 8:45 getting your coffee because first kickoff's at 9.
Yeah. It's an experience that whether you even gamble or not, I think it makes it a little bit more fun if you have a reason to watch. All 16 games or whatever, I forgot how many games, especially in college. There's so many games, and you can place a bet on like some MEAC conference game, and the next thing you know, you're knee deep into the action. Watching some dude miss an extra point, you lose your mind because you parlayed the over with 4 other games, and it just cost you $5,000 on a $5 bet. I think that kind of stuff's fun. So I used to go to the dog races in Jacksonville. And go to Highlight all the time. So, I prefer that kind of thing more than I think slot machines are a complete waste of time.
Oh, they're terrible. I would never play a slot machine. But I'm the poker guy. That's my calling.
Sure, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I like to sit at a game of probabilities. Everybody goes, "Well, poker's gambling." No, poker's skill.
It's a game much like chess.
Right.
There's strategy involved.
Yeah.
Poker. And if you're a good poker player, you play the long game.
Yeah, it's the law of probabilities, and I took statistics in college, and so
Sure.
So the election. Speaking of statistics and numbers and gambling, wow, this election is it going into next week, or are we going to have some finality today or tomorrow?
They've pretty much guaranteed that Pennsylvania's not going to finalize their election until next Thursday. Right. So, I find it fascinating that Nevada just turned off we're no longer counting votes until today. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, they ran out of ink and copy paper and have to print more votes, right? So Amazon's a 2-day delivery. I don't, again, and I saw an interview with Jeb Bush yesterday about how many lessons they learned from 2000, and they understood that the longer the election went, the more apt the perception of fraud or real fraud could take place. And I think that's absolutely true. If you notice, no one, and I mean no one, is questioning the validity of our election in Florida. But every time a state gets another 10,000 votes dropped, let's say in Virginia, more and more people are going, wait, where do those 10,000 come from? Why are they this percentage for Trump and only this percent for Biden? It just opens up that window of fraud, and if we got one thing right, we at least figured out how to hold an election.
Well, Florida has come a long way since the year 2000 with the hanging chads. And I know each state. I'm the person that says it on the radio. Each state's its own little country that operates in its own autonomy, but there's got to be some sort of form that all 50 states have to adhere to get this process done quicker. Because the fact that Pennsylvania couldn't even start counting until the polls close, well, it's going to take 3 or 4 days then when you got 5-6 million votes.
Sure. Yeah, and I think you and I talked about it on Wednesday. I think that was the wrong way to handle things. And also, as long as you're accepting votes, then people are going to place them, and it puts in your mind, and again, the mind it can create so many things. It's such a powerful tool that you start creating conspiracies that aren't there. And the longer this goes on, the more likely these conspiracy theories are going to come about. Whether they're true or not doesn't matter at this point. You have to have the guise of it being a true and safe election. And the longer this takes, the more that erodes.
100%. I agree that the trust issue erodes with every second that passes.
There you go.
I mean, it puts more and more validity into what the president's side is saying. The longer it takes, the more people that think that's valid, that the fix is in.
Yeah, and then you get videos, and you get on your social media that shows some guy that has no context, where he's getting frustrated because he's counting a vote, and he crumples one up, and you're like, see, there's voter fraud. We have no idea what that guy was doing, but there's thousands of those videos. Or somebody shows what's going on in Michigan, where some guy who's been dead for 30 years voted for Biden. That's what happens when you allow this to go on, because more and more people focus on it, and more and more people get frustrated.
Well, and it's what you need is when they're going to do a recount, they're going to recount Wisconsin, it looks like. And then during that recount, do they also put that recount against the actual voter roll to make sure that some of the ones they're counting are actually on the voters roll? I don't know if they do that or not.
Well, you got to remember last year in your home state of Georgia, when they went through and they cleaned, I don't remember the exact term, all the voter rolls, and millions of people dropped off it because they hadn't voted, or they couldn't confirm their address, or all of these other technicalities. Stacey Abrams still believes she's the governor of Georgia, but she lost by almost 1 million votes.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the downside of doing that, even though they're supposed to, according to their Constitution.
Well, in Florida, I know somebody who hasn't been alive for 15, 16 years, and they're still getting sample ballots sent to their house where they used to live. So that means they're still on a voter roll somewhere here in Florida, and they've been passed away 15, 16 years.
Right. Right, and that's why that system has to be updated on a regular basis. You know, people talk about, oh, we should be able to vote for your cell phone. I'm not against that. I'm not against using technology, as long as if I can pay my taxes online with my phone, I think I should be able to vote on my phone. I think we could make that secure enough. I really do. So, you know, I think we should embrace technology.
Well, okay, Dan's doing a sticky note to me right now to tell me what's going on with this computer system.
Dan's in the studio?
No, Dan's
all right.
Dan's on remote, but he's doing a sticky note to me to let me know what's going on. It's really there's a lot there's a lot going on in the studio right now, Galen, that you have no idea about.
I will tell you this. God forbid if we don't hear the radio the weather every 15 minutes. I mean, my God, it could change. It could change a degree or two.
Well, Dan seems the things to work. Galen, get I don't know. Oh well, yeah, I can't read that on the radio.
Well, have you ever played golf with Dan?
No. First off, let's clear something up. What Dan does is not really considered playing golf. He hits a golf ball. He says some curse words. He talks about how he got to get rid of his slice, and then he goes and hits it again. He says some curse words, talks about how he's got to get rid of his slice, and then he gets to the green eventually, and he putts, and he makes a 7, but he tells you it's a 5, and you move on.
He's one of these searchers. I mean, you know when you play with a guy who believes every golf ball is sacred?
Oh, yeah.
And they must be found,
he searches.
And they must be... he's a searcher.
Oh, he wants to put missing...
He once told me, he goes, that's my favorite golf ball.
Yeah. He wants to put missing... And I'm like, he wants to put missing ball posters up and everything.
Yes. Every golf cart has one. Yeah, they're all his favorites. And I'm like, all right. So I would just buy him... every time we played, I would just buy him a new sleeve and like, look... There's nothing special about these pinnacle threes.
So he,
they're
well, yeah, fun. There is. They'll break your golf club if it's real cold because they're rocks.
He swings, and once in a while, because he's strong. He's got Popeye strength. If you look at his forearm.
Oh yeah.
And once in a while, he'll catch one, and he'll be like, "This is why I'm a better golfer than you," because it'll go like, it'll carry 320.
Oh yeah.
It'll be just piped. And you're like, okay. And I still beat you on that hole by 3 strokes.
Right. That's what he says. He'll pipe one right down the fairway. A long way, by the way. When he hits it straight, it goes. And he'll go, that's why I'm a good golfer. And I go, I shot 81. You shot 103. How in the hell are you a good golfer?
Oh, man. But on that one hole, I outdrove you by 30 yards with a 4-iron.
Yeah, I made a 4. I made a par on that hole. You made a 7.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you need to play with Dan. It's a lot of fun.
I played a lot of golf with Dan. Oh, Dan said.
Okay.
Dan just texted me and said, "We got it wrong. The rules say high score wins in golf."
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, let's take a break. Right. Hopefully this thing's working now. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back with Galen Unall from Life South on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source. Just Shipped is expanding to its first retail.
People ask me why I've worked at Palm Garden for so long, and I tell them it's the people. I love to hear the life stories, especially those from the greatest generation. Celebrating life stories is what sets Palm Garden apart, finding out what's important to them. And I love being a resource. Like Macy's Santa, if I can't help, I'll send them to Gimbel's. After all, Palm Garden is located on 34th Street. I'm Jan from Palm Garden. Call me and let's chat. 854-6262.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Now you did it. Are you completely insane? He's back. He, who must not be named, the man, the myth, the only guy in Ocala to eat his own weight in fried pickles. Twice. Now, you asked for it. Sorta. Live and in person, it's Tom Schmitz.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On the phone line with us is Galen Unall from Life South. Brought to you by the good people at Penn Flooring, family owned and operated in Marion County for over 30 years. They owe every bit of their success to their unrivaled customer service. Penn Flooring is a full-service flooring company dedicated to finding the best solution for your flooring needs and having experience in both commercial and residential fields. They're located at 1201 Southwest 17th Street. Give them a call, 352-351-3420, or go see them in their massive showroom on 17th Street. Also, we would like to thank the Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, located at 2700 Southwest 34th Street. They offer skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If you have any questions about Palm Gardens, give them a call at 352-854-6262. Galen, that's just a bunch to say.
Yeah, you did it well, though. You did it very well. Congratulations.
Seems the computer's back working again, but, who knows?
Well, there you go. See, everything's coming around.
Well,
it'll be all right.
It's something. We'll just give it that. Something.
There you go.
So,
Take what you can get.
So now that the election is kind of over, I guess, our focus has to go back now to football, especially this week. Lost in this week is a lot of people have been so election-oriented, and this is a weird week for this football game because it's usually Halloween weekend, but this weekend it's a week after because of COVID. The annual largest outdoor cocktail party, and I know they don't like it called that, but let's call it what it is. It's just a huge party in Jacksonville. Florida-Georgia week. A lot of people are talking about that fight between Florida and Missouri at halftime, and that could be one of those season-changing moments where the team comes together. I just don't like that kind of stuff, though, and it looked kind of Bush League to me in the Missouri-Florida game, that fight at halftime.
Well, yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Anybody who believes that a fight with another team is going to somehow bring your team together doesn't understand, especially the way that fight went, right? Where I really think it was instigated by Florida. I agree with you. I think it was Bush League on both teams. But you can rally around someone. Maybe one of your players gets a cheap shot, and you rally around to protect them. That's completely different than what happened in that Missouri-Florida game.
Yeah, it was just, and don't get me wrong, did the linebacker take 1.5 or 2 steps and hit Kyle Trask late in the untimed down? 100%. But did that late hit need to lead to 80 players in a melee with coaches screaming and hollering, people getting punches thrown, players getting ejected, the referees losing control right there at the half? Look, I played linebacker. I like hitting quarterbacks. It was it's fun to me, but you didn't need to have a brawl over that. You get a 15-yard penalty. It's enforced at the beginning of the second half, and you move on. Oh, wait, the refs didn't call it. Okay, so they miss a lot in football. Not everything gets called. Move on, go in the locker room, and plan for the second half. The fight was completely useless for me.
But don't you think it was more of a desperate team? This is what I saw. I'll say this. I thought it was more from a desperate team that realized they're not as nearly as good as they thought they were going to be. Their quarterback's not nearly as good as they thought he was going to be. They're desperate, and they realize, okay, I'm just really incredibly frustrated. I'm going to just take it out on the team, on Missouri, any way I can.
Well, I think Kyle Trask is a really good quarterback. I think Florida's a really good football team. I think that they're still not this weekend is going to really be the litmus test, and I'm telling you, I'm a Gator fan. I want Florida to beat Georgia every time they play them. I just don't see it happening. I just don't. I still think Georgia's the better football program right now.
Yeah, I don't think they have. They're still lacking leadership on both sides of the ball. The Florida is. I like Dan Mullins. I think he'll be there for a long time. I think he'll be successful. I just think they're just still lost there. There's too much, a lot of individualism on that team, and I don't see it yet. I don't think they're there. I don't think they're a top 10 program.
Another game this weekend up in Tallahassee. The much-improved Pittsburgh Panthers come in to play the Florida State Seminoles. This is a Seminole team that needs to find its way somehow this season to try to salvage something that they can build on towards next season. This season's a wash. And by the way, I've heard people already say, well, the coach, he was left with nothing.
No.
Willie Taggart almost, in the 2 years he was there, decimated what was once a storied program. Willie Taggart did his best to try to decimate that program through just lack of understanding that he was in big boy football now. It wasn't the Pac-12 anymore. It wasn't USF, which, don't get me wrong, USF good team, but they're not up to the quality of the Clemsons and the Florida States of the world. And then he got to Florida State, and it's kind of like when you drive a Hyundai all your life. No offense to Hyundai drivers. You drive a Hyundai all your life, and then somebody says, hey, here's the keys to a Bentley, and doesn't supervise you and show you how to drive it and everything. You might be in a little trouble.
Yeah, that's not a bad analogy. I mean, look how, and the new guy, I think he's going to be all right. I really do. I talk to a lot of high school coaches who think he's doing the right things as far as recruiting. But you're right, this year is a wash, and so all they can do is figure out, all right, what do we have? Our offensive line, what exactly can our offensive line do really well? I think the quarterback, Travis, is going to be pretty good. He seems to be making good decisions. He makes the right throws. The Louisville game, they were just never – they were behind from the opening kickoff. They couldn't get into that game. They played well against Notre Dame, so let's see. They've had an extra week of practice. Should be a full crowd. As long as you have a COVID negative test, you can go to the game. My son will be there, so it should be a great crowd. Let's see how it goes.
Mike,
I'm excited about the game Saturday. I really am.
I think it's going to be a good test. I think this is Mike Norvell, the head coach of Florida State. He should tell his players, if I was the head coach there, I would go in and I'd say, look, fellas, starting this Saturday, through the remainder of the season, everything you do is a job interview for next year. Some of you 5-stars that think you're 5 stars, and so you think you deserve to start. If a 3-star whips your butt in practice every day, they're getting the start on Saturday. You're not. And that's the kind of thing you need to do. You need to let them know you either need to get with the program or you need to get in the portal, the transfer portal, and get out of here so we can get people in here that are with the program, because this is Florida State. This isn't FIU. This isn't Bethune-Cookman. This isn't, wait, I'm about to upset some people. This isn't UCF. This is Florida State University. The only two schools that rival in the state for history-wise are Florida and Miami. One of them is trying to get back to its riches, and the other one is as irrelevant as Notre Dame is. And that's the Miami Hurricanes to me. The last time Miami was important, VHS was still a thing. Okay.
Hey, I'm going to add to what you said, because you're dead on. But what he really needs to start seeing is these guys competing in practice.
100%.
That's a big thing. And I don't think that's not something that Taggart ever did. You were given a position and you kept it. There was no competition. I heard that from Derek Brooks. Derek Brooks told me that. Yeah. The other thing they need to do is let's start seeing if you can play smart football. Because this has been Taggart had a really dumb team. That's where I got frustrated. If a guy forgets the plays, or
if he forgets the snap count,
mental mistake. Yeah, he's making mental mistakes. And that includes fumbling and drop passes. Those are the kinds of things that lose football games. And that's what I would look for. You want smart football players who give it 100% in practice every single day. That wins you football games. And then once you start doing that, then you start changing the culture. And I think that's what Norvell's trying to do, is change a culture that Taggart just destroyed.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm just sick of the apologists for Taggart. Just because of the color of his skin, they thought he should have got 3 more years. No, that's wrong. I'm sorry, that's wrong. He was a terrible coach.
He was a terrible coach. We got about 45 seconds, but I want to say this. Michael Irvin said in that video for 30 for 30, the best people I went against every year were in practice, Benny Blades and those guys. So that's what you're talking about, and that needs to happen at Florida State. Tell us where the Bloodmobile is today.
Yeah. Well, Deion Sanders would disagree with you on that one.
Well, yeah.
He's commented on that many times because he's the best player Michael Irvin ever went against.
100%.
Bloodmobile the Bloodmobile is at Florida State, and Winn-Dixie North, right there on 441 and 326. Come by and see us, and of course at the Boulevard. Give blood. We're in emergency need of everything. 1 donation, 3 lives.
Galen, thanks. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, my man. Be good.
Be right back at this timeout. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Radio News with Lance Pride.
As the presidential election remains in question, one thing is clear. The polls were again completely wrong. Pollster Lee Carter, president of Maslansky and Partners, tells Fox News the undecided voter is hard to calculate.
What I would call the unexcited voter. The unexcited voter was somebody who was just not terribly enthused about their candidate, but they were doing it because of an issue that maybe was important to them, but they could still be peeled off. Donald Trump, I believe, was able to peel off some of those folks in the end because Joe Biden, we saw this in the polls all along, only 30% of people are voting for Joe Biden were voting for him because of his policies and what he was going to do. Okay. Most people are voting for Joe Biden were voting against Donald Trump.
The Trump campaign has filed lawsuits in 3 states claiming voter irregularities and last-minute rule changes. Thursday Night Football tonight, the Packers travel to the 49ers, 8:20 p.m. Eastern on Fox. USA Radio News.
There's so much hand sanitizer on the market, but beware, not all hand sanitizers are created equal. That's why you want to use 2020 Safe hand sanitizer. You can trust the hand sanitizer on 2020safe.net to be made with the highest quality ingredients, American made with American ingredients, employing Americans. Log on now to 2020safe.net and order your 1 liter today. Normally $29.99, but reduced to $19.99. So hurry while supplies last and receive a bonus. That's right. You'll receive a 30-count bottle of Immune Booster, a $39.95 value, free by using code GCN at checkout. Right now, click 2020safe.net. That's 2020safe.net to get our 1-liter bottle of high-quality hand sanitizer with your free bonus. A 30-count bottle of Immune Booster valued at $39.95. Remember to enter GCN at checkout, and the bonus is yours free. 2020safe.net.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. USDA's Ag Statistics Service estimate now nationwide that the peanut crop is 66% harvested. 76% is the 5-year average. In Georgia, 84% as of November the 1st has been dug, 67% harvested. Normally, we're about 80 to 85% at this point. Peanuts were dug and harvest progressed slowly, they said, due to wet conditions across the state. Some farmers waited to finish peanut harvest before moving on to cotton. Alabama's 87% of their crop is dug, but 77% has been harvested. They're normally about 82. They said row crop harvest was expedited where impossible ahead of the Hurricane Zeta, and producers in northern counties reported good yields for cotton, soybeans, and peanuts. In Florida, 93% of the peanuts are dug, 83% has been harvested. They said spotty rain showers along with remnants of Hurricane Zeta continue to affect the amount of harvesting being done across the state. Fungal issues is another issue that it was brought up in peanut harvest in Florida.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our technical skills,
our math, our engineering skills.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our organizational skills, our problem-solving skills.
You're going to need our determination, our honesty, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is